Nice, we get to choose. Lake Kingdom, Wooded Kingdom. I am not playing any underwater level. Oh, hell no. And then the other area just kind of evaporate. I'm okay with that. I feel like I should be trying to play this game a lot faster. You know, I think if I was trying to be serious, we could do it a bit better. Oh no. Oh. Oh, it's making us go to Lake Kingdom anyways. I skipped Lake Kingdom because I didn't want to do water. Shouldn't we be inside before taking off? This doesn't look safe. Alright, I need to get out of Lake Kingdom as soon as possible. That was my live reaction in my blind playthrough of Super Mario Odyssey, that if a Nintendo game gives me the opportunity to skip a water level, I am going to take that without hesitation. I honestly thought this game was going to be like Super Mario Bros. 3, that the path diverges, choose the level you're better at, path comes back together, and then you can resume on with your adventure. Unfortunately, that's not how Mario Odyssey works, so they eventually threw me into the water level. At this point, I wasn't that happy. It's just a meme at this point. Oh no, we have the Water Temple in Legend of Zelda, and even going back to Mario games, Mario 64, I hated all of the water levels growing up as a kid, and they're still not fun now. Dire Dire Docks, Jolly Roger Bay, not really the best gaming experiences, and then your initial reaction in Super Mario Odyssey kind of feels the same, that Mario, look at how he swims. He swims in like this upright, kind of just like fluttery kind of way, and it doesn't feel like you have that much movement. And honestly, I feel like the best way of describing how Mario controls underwater in Super Mario Odyssey is like an out-of-shape short Italian man. There's really no other way of putting it. Now, the game kind of sets you up and baits you, it feels, that you run over to the water, first thing you see is a bright musical note, you think, hey, that's a moon, I'm gonna go and collect those musical notes, and then it just kind of feels a little sluggish. So yeah, initially the water mechanics came off bad to me. However, when you go out and explore the rest of the level, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. The deep water movement is not that bad. Like, comparing it to Mario 64, you had like this slow movement and turning, and it was kind of clunky, and you couldn't really pinpoint exactly where you needed to go half the time. I really don't feel this issue with Mario Odyssey as much, and then you can also do dashes. So instead of doing a cap dive, you just dive underwater, and it gives you a nice little bit of a dash and a movement speed boost, and I feel that you can use this to navigate pretty well. And then we get into the other aspects, and it just feels good, because we have an attack underwater that moves horizontally. That when you think about the traditional Mario games, sure, you can bring fire underwater and technically it counts as an attack, but it's always going to angle down, which is not what we're used to. Even if you throw fire while standing on a platform, the fire's going to skip across the bottom of the level, so it still feels like you have a horizontal attack, therefore you can take out enemies that are mostly directly threatening you. In the other Mario games, you don't really have that with fire, but in Mario Odyssey, you can throw your cap at enemies, and you can hit enemies, which means you have a way of defending yourself underwater if you get overwhelmed, and that adds so much to the underwater experience, not to mention that you can just cap enemies. Throw your cap at a Cheep Cheep, and you're set. You become a fish. You are finally adapted to functioning properly in a water level in Mario Odyssey, and I mean, the Cheep Cheep is pretty cool too. You actually have an attack. You can spin around, create a little whirlpool, and attack enemies that way. You also have good vertical movement, your horizontal movement, all your directional movement is decent as a Cheep Cheep, if not pretty good, or just acceptable, which is amazing for a water level in a Nintendo game, and your exploration with this gets pretty cool, that you need it to unlock certain moons, so it does reward you for just kind of swimming around and getting better as a Cheep Cheep. But also another thing you can do is you can just kind of pop out with Mario. So if you need to be Mario form to get access to a moon, or if you wanted to explore for yourself, you can use a Cheep Cheep to get to one point, still underwater, turn into Mario, and then you're good to go. Now, as for holding your breath, the mechanics behind it are pretty interesting, that it feels like you don't really have that much of an air timer, you know? That initial bar goes down and then you start taking damage, and it feels like you didn't really have too much time to explore anything. However, there's a lot of air bubbles scattered throughout the levels that, for the most part, you just kind of cap over to an air bubble. That you can throw Cappy at an air bubble, and then that's going to give you health. So it means like you have this last little ditch save, and it feels really satisfying when you get health right before you're about to take damage. Also, the damage ticks in between drowning and stuff is very long, so it seems like you do have quite a lot of time to just kind of explore and drift around and swim while underwater with Mario, so it tends to work out pretty well. And it's not just the Lake Kingdom, the Seaside Kingdom is incredibly fun. Now, to be fair, the Seaside Kingdom has a lot of ground exploration, that if you even want to get across most of the parts in level, you don't even have to swim to them. You can take like little sandbars and then kind of hop and skip your way over, and a lot of the moons are going to be in like the central beach area or the main beach area, so you don't really have to swim too much, but I think that's another thing behind the good design here, is that there's not an excessive amount of swimming. That if you need to swim, you can do it, and it's not going to feel terrible. There's cheap cheeps throughout the level. Cap and cheap, do your exploration, find moons, you're good to go right there. But then there's these enemies. These little bubble squid guys are some of the most fun I had playing Super Mario Odyssey, and they're inside of a water level, so maybe I'm just biased. Maybe that made me enjoy this level more than I was supposed to, and technically you can't really swim with them, but you can use them to kind of navigate about the level very quickly, very easily, and even skip over a few parts that would normally be a little more annoying than they need to be. The movement of these guys is like a mix between creative mode Minecraft and Super Mario Sunshine, and it is incredibly satisfying to just zip around the level like that, but even when we get to the water parts, the open water isn't really too terrible either. So I mean, when you think about some of the other aspects that make water levels bad as well, the emptiness. Super Mario Odyssey, there's not a lot of emptiness, that you can either cap a cheap to get through some kind of area that doesn't really have much going on, or there's generally, you have to look. This game is overloaded with moons. In your immediate area, there's probably a moon that's able to be found, or some kind of little mini game or activity that you can do that helps you progress some part of the level. And because of that, it doesn't feel like you're just lost in an open sea, exploring aimlessly with slow water movement as you try to figure out what's going on. I think that's a big downfall for a lot of the open world or 3D Mario games, mostly just Mario 64, but even when you think about the classic Mario games as well, you know, you're just kind of like drifting around, waiting for things to happen. You just go left to right, just trying to push ahead as fast as possible to get this water level over with, and I didn't feel that in Mario Odyssey. Now, I will close out this video by saying this is my opinion. You might disagree and think that Mario Odyssey has the worst water mechanics in all of Nintendo, but I honestly didn't think that I was so surprised that I was enjoying myself in a water level in Mario, that I will say that these are my favorite water levels in all of Mario. The mechanics and the design of these levels is just good, and it makes me want to play them and not just get them over with. Overall, the Mario Odyssey water levels were just a crazy experience that I went in hating it, just wanted to get it over with, just wanted it done. And like I kind of said in the beginning of the video, I felt like I didn't have a lot of freedom either. That intro water area just really isn't that fun to play, but then it started to open up. Once I realized I have a lot of freedom in these water levels, I started enjoying it. The water levels became a nice, pleasant experience. I didn't feel like I was grinding. That might also have something to do with how many moons are accessible as well. It feels like I'm always making progression instead of like in Mario 64, you know, it's like, oh, get the star over here, and then you're just like, the whole way you're trying to get over there. It doesn't feel that satisfying, but then you realize there's a lot of freedom and it gets better and better. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Hey, another zipper. Oh, that's different. Whee! That's so silly. Oh no, we have some major swimming to do, boys. I'm pressing B, get me down. There it is. I'd like ground pound to get down, apparently. Alright, so these are the air bubbles. Gotta watch out for spikes. Oh, so you mash B to go up, and then you sink otherwise. I still don't understand these swimming mechanics. Let's get this air bubble. Alright, that air bubble probably don't come back. Oh, and it's like an underwater maze. I don't like it. Oh. I like this though. I'll take a moon any day. I guess I just took the wrong path. So alright, we get 2 more, we beat the boss, and then we can peace out of here. Alright, that works. Shop's on the level above. This is really interesting. This is actually not a garbage water level. I'll give them credit. Water levels are bad, I know. This is like the one exception. What is it? I need to like play some music in the background. Be like do 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 do. Dude, these guys are fun. Why are all the cap enemies so fun? In their own unique way. I don't know where to go now. I feel like I'm making slight progress. I think I just steal these guys. And I get up there. But it needs... Oh, it needs a moon. Oh, there's a moon up there. They're not going to make it this easy, are they? It looks like I was just supposed to, like... And he's teaching me how to do it. It looks like I was just supposed to... Really? Come on. Oh, let's bounce. There we go. Really, game? You're just gonna give that one to me like that. I guess I was supposed to platform out there, and then it was like, yo. I'm just gonna use those people to get all of these.